How's it going, guys? And welcome to what has become a change of plans. Originally, I was going to take you guys to the greatest apple pie in the United States. I have a whole philosophy around apple pie and the good life. They go hand in hand. However, my chariot of choice, which is my 1979 vintage van, I freaking love this thing, my Vandura, you guys have seen it before, decided otherwise. So last night I was trying to get the heater to work and see how it's kind of wet through here, see the big puddle on the ground? Yeah, that's not supposed to be that way. What we've got is a bad heater core. So instead of doing a break-in on the new engine that I put in this thing and going getting the greatest apple pie in the United States, I'm instead gonna run you guys through a little bit about break-in process on an engine as I fix this heater core, give a little oil change, some other things, and then I am gonna take you somewhere pretty epic. I think you're gonna dig it. So we're either gonna get a break-in or break down. We're gonna have a lot of fun working on the van, and I'm gonna walk you through kind of the evolution the van's been through in the last little while. Let's hit it. Ooh, yeah! Honestly, there's just a really great satisfaction that comes from having built something and then having it like just start. All right, let's get cracking. First thing we need to do before we can hit the road is give the engine oil change. And we've got some real expensive dinosaur blood here, Royal Purple break-in fluid. Now the reason that we're using Royal Purple is because this is an old engine, well, new to me, but old engine out of a 91 van. And it's a 350 small block that I rebuilt, put kind of a bigger cam in it, let's say, burn a little bit of rubber. Got some headers, wrapped them, 3-inch pipe all the way to the back. Sounds great, runs great, right? But these older engines, they require a little bit of vitamins and minerals at the beginning of their lives when you're breaking them in. And so you have to get a break-in fluid that has like zinc and a bunch of other stuff that the engine needs, at least for the first few thousand miles. Now, engine break-ins are both a science and an art, at least in my experience. The initial break-in of an engine is generally agreed upon. What you want to do is you want to get your break-in oil in your engine, depending on what type of engine you're doing. You'll need a different type of oil. And then you run it for about 30 minutes at varying RPMs, and then you change the oil immediately after that. So that oil change is a 30-minute oil change, and put fresh oil in it. After that's where the art comes into play. Now, the way that I like to do my break-ins after the initial 30 minutes is I'll run the vehicle for about 500-600 miles, give it another oil change, check to make sure that there's no metal debris in that oil change, and then after that just go to a regular service intervals. Now I've actually already tried to do one break-in with this van. It made it down to Las Vegas, and then the transmission that was rebuilt blew up. So that's the thing. My engine has the 500 miles on it. So we're gonna drain it and we're gonna check for any metal shavings. Fingers crossed we don't find any. The easiest way that I found to look if your oil has any metal chunks in it is to just drain it into a big open container. I have like a proper oil catch, of course. And then I can run a magnet along the inside of that and see if I pick up any little baby chunks. Well, it can never be easy. So I went to pull the old oil filter off and something real interesting happened. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. Put my oil wrench on it and just crumped right up. I don't know why it's too tight. Obviously it is very much too tight. So I'm gonna try a couple things. I might just end up sticking a screwdriver through it and hammering it off. Well, not exactly sure why that happened. You know, just trying to get on the road, no big deal. We got her. Yep. I'm not quite sure what happened, but we got her. Pro tip, if you don't already have one, get yourself a giant screwdriver or two. They come in real handy. Now, when you're breaking in an engine, and honestly all the way up to about 10,000 miles on a rebuild or on a new engine, it's uncommon to find a little bit of metal in there. It's just things finding their places. And what I mean by a little bit of metal, I mean like metal dust. You don't want to find any big chunks of anything or anything like that. Obviously, you have a problem if that's the case. You can see, I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but there is just a little bit of metal dust here on the end of my, my magnet. But overall, honestly, it's looking really good. So this engine calls for 5.1 quarts of oil. So I put a little bit in the filter and then I put 4 quarts in. And one of those was from the little bit I put in the filter. Now I personally like to go about a 1/2 quart to 3/4 less than what the car calls for. And then from there, I just I'll start the engine, check the dipstick, and then just build from there. Fun little pro tip, if you need somewhere for your funnel to completely drain out and you don't have anywhere to put it, just put it in one of the old bottles. The oil change ended up becoming an odyssey. I can't say that I'm too surprised. And so when I went to the parts house, I figured I'd be working pretty late into the night just because of how things generally go with old cars. So I got myself a AC and non-AC heater core because the dash in this van is a little weird. The 79 I don't think came with an air conditioner, but it has like air conditioned stuff like in the dash. So it might be a different dash. Maybe there was an option I'm just not aware of. So yeah, gonna pull that heater core and then we're hitting the road. So when taking old stuff apart, it's not uncommon to find different treasures. I feel like I really scored here in this air box. We got a cigarette, kind of new looking razor blade, and some hardware. But we got the heater core out, so one step closer to leaving. That sound never gets old. Well, everything's back together and the sun is coming up, so we didn't beat the sun, but that's all right. There's still plenty of open road. I got 24 hours before Monday hits, so got to pick up a bunch of tools and we're just gonna go ahead and leave this mess. Future Zach can deal with that. That dude, he's better at cleaning up stuff anyways. But we can't leave without a bunch of tools in case we do break it on the road. So get some tools cleaned up, get some gas in the van, hit the road. Hopefully this is a break-in trip and not a breakdown trip. So good news, everything seems to be together still. Bad news is it's really cold. I have no heater. I'm hoping that's just because the radiator fluid is low and so the heater's not able to do its job because like I am like shivering. It is so cold. I got more layers that I can put on, but yeah. So I'm gonna let the car cool down a bit. I'm gonna check the oil. Obviously let it cool down enough that I can take the cap off the radiator and hopefully we get some heater action because yeah, I think it's like 30 degrees outside and it's probably 30 degrees in the van. Well, the radiator is full, but my heater hose is cold. Like it doesn't have any hot fluid running through it. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. I can tell you though that it is freezing cold in that van driving, so I gotta figure that out. So the hose going from the radiator to the heater core looks like it might have a bit of a kink to it. And I don't know if that's enough, like this little bit right here, if that's enough to like not let the pressure through. Like it's creating some sort of a vacuum or it's just making it so that it can't do its job. So I'm gonna try to cut that hose down just a little bit up here. And I don't know, honestly at this point I'm just kind of guessing. All right, let's see if that makes a difference. I think I'll
just start her up and see what we can do. Because it's pretty unbearable driving around without that heater on, with how cold it is out here.
So update, I had to go to a real dark place just now, and I'm still not sure if the heater is going to work. But the sun popped out, so it is a bit warmer. I got the hat back on, took the sweater off. So I say I'm just going to keep running. We're going to run for it and see what we get. Since we couldn't go to the best apple pie in the United States, we just didn't have enough time. And I promise you, we're gonna go, and I'm gonna fill you in on that philosophy. I decided to keep with the theme pie, and we're gonna drive out to Jackson Hole. So it's about, I don't know, 250 miles, 275 miles one way. So should be a good test run, 500-600 miles. There's a good pizza place up there. Now, if they're open or not, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so we're gonna pop up to Jackson Hole, grab ourselves some pizza. Hopefully the van runs nice and smooth, and get some rest tonight. That's it. That's my final layer. This is the coldest drive I have ever been on. Still got like an hour and a half, 2 hours left. So I had to pull over because of my feet being so cold. I'm not worried about frostbite or anything like that. It's like literally kind of getting hard to drive because I can't feel the pedals very well. So on the van, there's a doghouse that opens up right to the engine, and the engine is very warm. So I got a built-in foot warmer. Check this out. Just put my toes in here. Yeah, we'll just let those bake at 350 for, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that. Now I'll just leave them in until I get some feeling and then hit the road again. But you know, another reason vintage vans are awesome. Yep, so this is where we're at. It's a game changer. I brought like 2 sleeping bags because I thought I was gonna have to sleep in the shop last night, but you know, sleep's for suckers, so we didn't sleep. But yeah, I always have this like kind of beat up sleeping bag, zipper's broken, just like laying around, and it happened to be in the van, and yeah, now my legs are finally warm. It's been like 3.5 hours. I got like a 40-minute break on the way up here where the sun was out and it was like warm, but it's been a minute. This is a game changer. All right, finally rolling into Jackson. I can smell the caviar and Ugg boots already. So I just drove into town and I have never seen Jackson Hole this empty. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're probably in a shoulder season, and I'm gonna go ahead and say everything's closed. But we are still gonna go try to find that pizza. Well, that couldn't have worked out better, and I really couldn't think of a better meal after freezing for 4 hours on the way up here. Look, I know it's mine and I know I built it, but man, it's just so pretty walking up to it. You know, it's the little things. Well, this break-in process was not a breakdown process, which is really exciting to me after all the work that I've put into the van. I mean, obviously everything's not perfect, but it made it there and back without breaking down, so we're looking really good. Next step for the van, other than that dang heater core, is I'm gonna start building out the back, and I've got some cool plans for that, and do a full video build out. It's gonna be awesome. And you know, I've been in my boots for over 36 hours, so that's how you know it was a good one. Thank you guys so much for coming along. I had a blast. I hope that you also had a blast. I'm gonna go take a shower and hit the hay. Catch you on the next one.